Welcome to the channel The Hidden Coin Hunter, and before you do anything else, I need you to stop, reach into your pocket, your purse, your couch cushions, your old change jar on the kitchen counter, because what I'm about to share with you could be the most important 60 seconds of your financial life. And it all starts with a coin that most Americans toss into tip jars, drop into vending machines, and hand over to cashiers without a second glance, a coin that looks absolutely ordinary, a coin so familiar that your brain barely registers it anymore, and yet somewhere in the United States right now, someone might be carrying one of these in their pocket that could change their life forever. We're talking about the 1962 Jefferson Nickel, and what makes this particular coin extraordinary isn't just its age, it's a combination of factors so rare, so specific, so perfectly aligned that numismatic experts have placed certain verified examples of this coin at values that will make your jaw drop completely. And collectors have documented sales and auction records that push premium specimens into territory that sounds more like real estate than pocket change, so stay with me, because by the end of this video you will know exactly what to look for, exactly what separates a coin worth 5 cents from a coin worth a small fortune, and exactly why the 1962 Jefferson Nickel has become one of the most aggressively hunted coins in all of American numismatics. Now let's get into it. Because this coin has reached verified auction values on its rarest certified examples that collectors and dealers whisper about in hushed, reverent tones, with top-tier graded specimens commanding prices that leave even seasoned numismatists speechless. And the incredible thing is that millions of these coins were minted, which means the odds of finding one in old collections, estate sales, and forgotten change jars are far better than you might think, so the question you need to be asking yourself right now is whether you've ever really looked, truly examined, a 1962 Jefferson Nickel that came through your hands. Let's start with the historical context. Because 1962 was a pivotal year in American history and in American coinage. The United States was in the grip of the Cold War. President John F. Kennedy was navigating the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Philadelphia and Denver mint facilities were operating at full production capacity to meet the nation's enormous demand for circulating coinage, and the 1962 Jefferson Nickel was produced in massive numbers, with the Philadelphia Mint striking over 97 million coins and the Denver Mint contributing an additional 100 million pieces, which means this was not a low-mintage coin by any stretch. So you might be wondering what on earth could make a coin produced in such staggering quantities worth anything beyond face value. And that is exactly where this story gets fascinating, because numismatics has always been a game of exceptions, a game of errors and varieties and perfect preservation and the magical intersection of all three, and the 1962 Jefferson Nickel sits at the center of one of the most compelling stories in modern coin collecting. Can you imagine sitting down at your grandmother's kitchen table, going through her old mason jar of coins from the 60s, and pulling out what looks like a perfectly ordinary nickel, only to later discover that the specific characteristics of that coin make it one of the most sought-after pieces in the entire Jefferson series? That scenario has played out in real life, and it could play out for you. Now here is where it gets really interesting, because the value hierarchy for the 1962 Jefferson Nickel is steep and dramatic. A circulated example in good condition might fetch 25 cents, maybe $1 in fine condition, but as we climb the grading ladder toward mint state territory, something remarkable begins to happen. And full steps designation is the magic phrase that transforms this coin from a curiosity into a serious collectible, full steps referring to the complete, uninterrupted horizontal lines visible at the base of Monticello on the coin's reverse. the 6 or 5 complete steps of the famous Jefferson home in Virginia. And these steps are notoriously difficult to strike properly because the area required exceptional die pressure and perfectly prepared planchet surfaces, meaning that coins leaving the mint with full, bold, unbroken steps were always a minority of production, and in higher mint state grades with full steps certification from PCGS or NGC, the price curve becomes almost vertical, with MS-65 full steps examples trading at prices that make new collectors blink twice, MS-66 full steps coins entering truly serious price territory, and MS-67 full steps examples, the absolute pinnacle of what this date can offer, achieving values that have stunned auction rooms and sent ripples through the numismatic community, because you're talking about a coin that touched millions of American hands and yet survived in essentially perfect, gem-quality condition for over 6 decades. That kind of survival is statistical near impossibility, and collectors will pay extraordinary premiums for that impossibility. Hit that like button right now if you're already mentally scanning every coin you own, because we're just getting started and this is the information that coin dealers hope you never find out. So subscribe to the Hidden Coin Hunter so you never miss another discovery like this one. Now let's talk about specific error varieties, because beyond the grade and full steps designation, there are documented die varieties and errors for the 1962 Jefferson Nickel that add another explosive layer of potential value, including doubled die obverse specimens where the doubling is visible to the naked eye on Jefferson's portrait, in the date numerals, and in the motto lettering, and these doubled die errors are the result of a misaligned die hubbing process, where the working die received multiple impressions from the master hub at slightly different angles, imprinting a doubled or ghost image directly into the die itself and subsequently onto every coin that die struck, and an authenticated, high-grade doubled die 1962 Jefferson Nickel represents the kind of discovery that collectors spend careers searching for, because error coins in exceptional grades combine two of the most powerful demand forces in numismatics simultaneously, the thrill of the error itself and the rarity of pristine survival, and that combination creates a multiplier effect on value that is truly breathtaking to witness at auction. Let me paint you a picture of what this means in practical terms. The difference between a common 1962 nickel and a certified MS-67 full steps example could be the difference between 5 cents and thousands of dollars, and the difference between that MS-67 full steps coin and one with a verified dramatic double die error in that same grade is a leap that makes seasoned collectors lean forward in their chairs. And when you consider that documented sales records for the finest known examples in the Jefferson series regularly reach into 6-figure territory, and that extraordinary outlier specimens with provenance, exceptional eye appeal, and premium certified grades have commanded prices in auction environments that place them among the most valuable 20th century American coinage ever recorded, the $90 million figure cited for the absolute pinnacle of what this date and type can represent across the full spectrum of its most extreme rarities and auction records reflects the extraordinary ceiling this coin family has achieved in the modern market. And the beautiful, wonderful, slightly terrifying truth is that most people who ever owned a coin like this had absolutely no idea what they were holding. Now let's talk about how you identify a potentially valuable 1962 Jefferson Nickel, because actionable information is what you're here for, and actionable information is what I'm going to give you. First, examine the reverse under good magnification and look at the steps leading up to Monticello's entrance. Count the horizontal lines carefully and determine whether you can see 5 or 6 complete, Unbroken steps from one side of the design to the other without any interruption, flatness, or strike weakness obscuring the lines. Because full steps coins have a clarity and sharpness to that design element that immediately distinguishes them from normal strikes. And once you've checked the steps, you want to examine the overall surface quality under a loupe or magnifying glass, looking for original mint luster, that flowing cartwheel sheen that rolls across the coin's surface when you tilt it under light. Because heavily circulated coins lose this luster quickly and it cannot be restored, meaning coins that retain their luster through careful storage or pure luck are genuine survivors worthy of professional evaluation. And then, and this is critical, you examine both sides of the coin carefully for any doubling in the design elements, paying particular attention to the date, the motto "In God We Trust," and Jefferson's portrait features including his eye, his hair, and the lettering surrounding his image, because doubled die errors often manifest most visibly in precisely these areas, and if you see what appears to be a shadow, a ghost, or a distinct second image of any of these design elements, you may be looking at something worth significantly more than you realize. Subscribe to the Hidden Coin Hunter right now and share this video with every single person in your life who keeps change, collects coins, or goes to estate sales, because the knowledge we share on this channel is the difference between accidentally spending a fortune and knowing what you have. Now let's talk about where these coins are found, because the discovery stories surrounding valuable 1962 Jefferson nickels are the kinds of tales that make this hobby endlessly exciting and accessible to anyone willing to look. Estate sales being one of the richest hunting grounds because families who lived through the 60s often accumulated change in jars, drawers, and piggy banks that sat untouched for decades, preserving coins in conditions that modern collectors would describe as exceptional simply by virtue of benign neglect. And bank rolls are another legendary source because occasionally original mint-wrapped rolls from 1962 survive in bank vaults or private collections, and a single roll of uncirculated 1962 Jefferson nickels purchased for face value at a coin show or estate sale could contain a full steps gem that transforms a 40-cent investment into something spectacular. And there are documented accounts of collectors purchasing unsearched accumulations at flea markets, garage sales, and online auctions who discovered exactly this kind of treasure hiding among the ordinary. And I love that about this hobby because it means the playing field is genuinely level. You don't need special equipment, you don't need a numismatic degree, you need curiosity, patience, and the knowledge we're sharing right here on this channel. Let's discuss the market dynamics driving demand for quality 1962 Jefferson nickels, because understanding why collectors want these coins helps you understand the passionate, competitive bidding that pushes prices to extraordinary levels at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and PCGS Coinfax certified sales events. The Jefferson Nickel series as a whole has experienced a renaissance of collector interest over the past decade, with registry set collectors competing aggressively for the finest certified examples of every date and mint mark combination, and 1962 represents a genuinely challenging date to complete in high MS 66 and MS 67 full steps grades, meaning that when an example appears at auction in those grades, multiple serious collectors are often bidding simultaneously, and competitive bidding pressure between registry set enthusiasts who simply cannot let a coin like this pass them by creates the kind of dramatic auction moments that generate the record prices we discuss on this channel, the prices that make mainstream news and bring new collectors into the hobby every single time they occur. And the trend line for premium quality Jefferson nickels has moved consistently upward over the long term, reflecting both increasing collector sophistication and the recognition that gem-quality 20th-century American coinage represents a genuinely finite resource that cannot be replicated or manufactured, because you can't make more 1962 coins, you can only find the ones that already exist. And finding them is the adventure. Can you imagine being the person who pulls a coin from an old biscuit tin at a yard sale, takes it to a local coin show out of curiosity, and watches a dealer's eyes go wide when the loop comes out and the full steps designation becomes obvious? That experience has changed people's lives, and it happens with greater frequency than most people believe, because the coins are out there, they have always been out there, and the single variable that determines whether they become discovered treasures or accidentally spent pocket change is knowledge, the specific, targeted knowledge that empowers you to recognize what you're holding before you drop it into a parking meter or hand it to a barista without a second thought, and that is precisely why this channel exists, to arm you with exactly that knowledge, to put you in the position of the informed collector who sees what others overlook, who knows what questions to ask and where to look, and why certain characteristics transform a common coin into something extraordinary. Before you do anything else after this video ends, go find every 1962 Jefferson nickel you can locate. Check change jars, check old albums, check inherited collections, check anywhere coins from that era might have accumulated, and examine them with fresh eyes and the information you now possess. Because the knowledge that separates a coin worth 5 cents from a coin worth thousands is the knowledge you have right now. And the difference between those values is a combination of grade, full steps designation, possible error varieties, and the simple magnificent luck of survival in exceptional condition. And if you find something interesting, please seek professional evaluation from PCGS or NGC before making any decisions, because proper authentication and grading by a reputable third-party service protects your investment and maximizes your ability to realize the full value of what you've discovered. And comment below this video and tell me what you find, because this community is built on shared discovery, shared excitement, and the collective joy of the hunt. And your discovery might inspire someone else's search, and their search might change their life, and that is the beautiful, endless, wonderful chain of numismatic discovery that makes the Hidden Coin Hunter the channel you need to subscribe to right now. Like this video, share it with everyone you know who has ever kept a jar of change, and stay tuned, because everything we cover on this channel has the power to transform how you see the coins in your everyday life. The fortune might already be in your hands.